blockers into the short side of the field that time for about a gain of 3 on the play. So it'll be 4th down. Well, gain of 4. We'll call it 4th and 4. And it looks like they'll have to punt again, as coming out to do the punting is J.R. Miller, number 12. Deep, Jimmy Jones and Rob Womack for the Gresham Gophers.
There's
Snap
the
to the
fake.
up man. There's the fake punt up to
Nothing
there. And spelling it out very quickly was Doug Boss, number 72. And of course, Boss, and also in there, Justin McCluskey, 82. Boss, that solid line play that he has given the Gophers all year, and especially in these last 2 weeks, has just been super impressive. Probably one of the outstanding linemen in the entire league.
There again, I can't emphasize enough the overall team speed of Gresham, swarming to that fake punt and be able to stop it before it even halfway developed.
Extremely well-coached group of young men from Gresham High School. As they obviously had scouted that out and they knew what was coming. Their coaching staff prepared them well. Back to pass. Nagel going for it all. Wide open is Valadez, and Valadez unable. John Valadez unable to catch up to the ball as it was well overthrown that time. Phil Freeman on the coverage, also number 30 down there on the coverage, David Douglas as well.
You know, Jim, Barlow has shown again, as we mentioned earlier, some real character here defensively. They've been on the field a long time, and they've stopped Gresham from getting into that end zone this second half. A very gallant effort on their part.
They come up now, 2nd and 10. Ball is at the 36-yard line of Barlow. Lassard breaks one tackle, turns it up inside. Phil Freeman's got a hold of him. And boy, I'll tell you, that time Phil just hung on and waited for his teammates to help pull down Matt Lassard. As Lassard so quickly turned up when he found that seam.
And he was almost caught in the backfield by either I think it was either the nose guard or one of a blitzing linebacker. But he just wiggles right out of those tackles and is able to gain tremendous yardage after being bumped or almost dragged down the backfield.
So they'll bring up 3rd and short now. In this situation, they come in their power I situation, double tight end. Rick Nelson, 32 in there, along with Ludwig and Lassard. Give us to Lassard. Lassard pops it right at the line of scrimmage. And pretty good job that time by Barlow, as they let a lot of people in there, led by Ryan Ludwig up front. Ludwig leads in there, and it's pretty tough to get a good handle on Lassard as he comes through, but Barlow did a good job, although they were not able to stop him, and he does get the 1st down. Ball is marked at the 23-yard line of Barlow. Gresham again on the march, eating up that time, making that defense of Barlow stay on the field. Power I again. Quick pitch to the right, this time to Lassard, trying to get around the corner. He's got Ludwig out there.
Oh my, who was that?
Coming up very quickly, number 21 was Brandon Wiley.
Good effort on his part.
Wiley read that and came, it looked like from like a free safety or something, Jerry. Just came up and split the seam as Ludwig was out there doing a very good job of lead blocking, and Wiley came from nowhere to pull Lassard down.
He's made a few fine tackles this evening. We saw him earlier in the game meet head on with one of the Gresham ball carriers, and there was quite a collision there, but he hung right in there. The ball carrier gained a couple yards on him, but he's a tough little guy, and he sure smelled that play out well.
Out of the eye this time. Give us to Lassard on the off tackle play, straight ahead. Lassard down to about the 15-yard line. Not quite to the 15. So it'll be 3rd down now and 2. Just inside, we call it the 16-yard line.
One thing that's happened this evening, Jim, is when Barlow does have the ball, Rick Nevis has been stopped. Gresham has really put the damper on him. He's been a great ball carrier and a yard gainer all year long.
Straight ahead, this time to Ludwig. Ludwig powers up inside there, and it looks as though he may have the 1st down. And I think they will mark it at about the 12-yard line, and that will be enough for the 1st down. for the Gophers as they continue to march with 8:10 to go here in the fourth quarter. And they just keep pounding away at you. They are relentless in the way that they hammer up in there with that offensive line. They're just so solid and execute so well. Tough Gresham Gopher team. Ranked number 4 in the state at the present time. Give it to Lassard. Lassard, holy cow. I'll tell you what, Jerry.
He's so
that
quick.
time, Ludwig put a hammer on someone in there on the lead block.
He's a defensive end. Coach, I couldn't see his number.
I think it was Miller that time, Paul Miller. And he just nailed him and sprung Matt Lassard loose. Close to a first down about the 3-yard line. They will measure. But a great, great job of blocking that time, led by Brian Ludwig.
One thing is going to be interesting as we go into these playoffs, the field conditions start to become a point. We find that the rains come, or maybe they end up having to play on a very cold night. The ground might even be frozen. It'd be interesting to see Gresham not being a real big team, how they might do in the mud. I don't think they've had to play a muddy game this year. Whether or not Lassard will be able to keep his quickness in the mud. Oftentimes, a muddy game is more of an inside plodding type of a game. Right now, Gresham looks like they could play on any type of field now and be successful.
First and goal from 3. Give us to Ludwig this time, and Ludwig, they're looking in there, and yes, he is in for the touchdown. A 3-yard run by Brian Ludwig.
That wasn't even close, Coach. I mean, he was a good 2 yards into the line, into the end zone, and they were trying to figure out whether he was scored or not. That was kind of unusual.
Brian Ludwig with the touchdown, making it 20-0. And glad to see that Barlow is okay. Dean Barlow is in to do the kicking, number 11. Try for the extra point will be held by Rob Womack, number 10. Down, up, and Barlow, the kick is good. So Barlow adds the extra point. And that makes it 21-0 in favor of the Gresham Gophers, as the Gophers are getting the job done. And Jerry, you know, you talk about field conditions in the playoffs, and I think that's something that obviously comes into play, and especially if you end up having to play anybody down there in that Southern Conference or someplace down there. You know, there's some teams down there, and some of the matchups are such that we could see some of the Mountain teams having to travel in that direction, and that would be a real challenge, because not only can they sometimes, even the Intermountain, if they have to go over the mountain, they could also, as well as the conditions of the field, the conditions of travel, you know, traveling in a bus over there and being on the bus all day long, those types of things. It's a completely different atmosphere for the kids on this side of the mountain as compared to the kids on the other side in terms of travel conditions.
It's exactly right, and sometimes when you have to go on the other side of the mountain, it's cold over there. I've been over there when the field has been frozen, and it's very difficult for a team on this side of the mountain to go over there and adjust.
Barlow on the kickoff, the low liner, taken by an up man, Mike Ronald. Ronald catches that ball, showing great hands, and returns the ball all the way up to the 43-yard line, where Barlow will take over 1st and 10. And it would be nice to see Barlow be able to put together a good drive here. Obviously, this is the last game of the year in the Mount Hood Conference. Both teams have had a good year. Barlow at 4-4 overall, 3-3 in league, and of course the Gresham Gophers undefeated. And it's a situation where you would like to see him go out in style and have at least a good, strong drive here towards the end.
Gresham's got a lot of the reserves in now, and maybe there we see Nevis, again, a fine ball carrier, not given much room. He gained about 3 yards on the play, but maybe Barlow will be able to move the ball a little bit more against Gresham's reserves. However, their reserves are pretty doggone good ball players, too.
That's one thing that Gresham has consistently had throughout the years with this program. Gary Stouts has really been very fortunate and also worked very hard to develop that depth that they have in Gresham. Freeman gives off the ball up. That's Wiley. Wiley is hog-tied and wrestled down. Really
That was right around the Adam's apple, I think.
Number 33, Sean Nielsen, that time in there.
That kept him from getting the first down. He was stopped so cold that he was not able to fall forward to get that first down. He only needs maybe a half a yard more.
So we call it 3rd and 1 now. Ball is marked at the 47-yard line of Barlow as they're trying to get the first down here. Freeman back in at quarterback, Wiley the up back, Nevis the tailback. Schurler out to the left, Miller to the right. Givens to Wiley, the up man, and boy, I'll tell you, he got through there quickly. It looked like Gresham might have had some kind of a stunt or something because they totally collapsed and Wiley had the outside all to himself.
But I thought he was going to have even more yardage than that, and it was the offside linebacker, Brian Ludwig, came all the way across the field and made that tackle for just a, what was it, Jim? Ended up being a 4-yard gain?
Yeah, he really looked like he had a lot of room to the outside because the entire offensive line had collapsed down on that left side. And as you mentioned, Ludwig came out and
he was a left linebacker and got all the way across the field to the left linebacker spot.
3-minute quarterback out of the eye again. Mike Ronald, the up back, fakes, throws the ball back, and Schurler that time goes up for the ball. But a nice job of defense by Jimmy Jones. As there is a flag down on the field, but a good job by Jones that time to go up and break up the pass. As the ball was thrown a little bit high, Schurler went up after it, but Jones on a nice job. And we have a holding call against Gresham. Obviously, Barlow will accept this.
You know, Phil Freeman did a fine job there. He looked one way, then he looked at another receiver.
Defense, first down.
Here we see the call. He looked at 2 different places and then threw a pretty good strike to that wide receiver coming back into the center of the field. It was a little bit high, and a good defensive play knocked it out of the hands.
So Barlow with a first down now. Ball spotted at the 40-yard line of Gresham. Out to the side here is Derek Garrison. Garrison with a nice move, and it appeared as though Freeman went pretty quick on the count, and his wide receivers were not set. We'll have to wait and see what the call is, but it appears as though there might be a motion call here.
That's too bad, because that was a good play. It didn't gain a lot, but it was a good play and executed quite
Captain,
well.
You got to take that penalty,
there was illegal motion.
You want to take the penalty? Okay, bring him back.
And as you mentioned earlier, Jerry, that's the one play, or that's the type of play that you have to do against Gresham. You have to use that short pass game.
Right.
First down and 15.
Illegal procedure penalty on the offense. Repeat first down.
You might mention that our officials tonight, referee Dave Bergman, as you saw make the call right there, umpire is Hank Sidoris, linesman Mike Pender, and the line judge is Bruce Etling.
I've been impressed with the officials this evening, Jim, except for maybe one call down there. They've really done a good job of controlling this game.
Unbalanced to right, Freeman straight back to pass, looking down. He lost one over here to Nevis. Nevis gets the ball, takes a crack, takes a couple good hits, and moves the ball up. It looks like the Rich Nevis that we have seen throughout the year, that time getting out in the open field. That ball was floated out there and allowed the defense really to recover, but Nevis still able to pick up about 5 yards on the play.
Here we see the replay.
That ball is up in the air a long time, Jerry, and Nevis does a nice job of catching it. Avoids one tackler and is finally brought down.
You can see all those blue shirts there again, Jim. Those blue shirts get there in a hurry, and they get there in numbers.
Yeah, and you have to, again, acknowledge the fact that Gary Stouts has most of his second unit in there, and so we've got some kids in there that are showing pretty good quickness that are second unit people. Lots of pressure on Freeman. Freeman unable to get anything on the ball, and basically the ball is thrown away out of bounds, intended for Todd Kerr. Third down and 10 now.
He didn't look like he had a good handle on that ball. The ball, I don't think he had a good grip on it because he just didn't have anything behind that.
So it'll be third down now, and it appears as though Barlow's going to take a timeout. That's their first timeout here in the second half.
They've got to come up with a little razzle-dazzle here to try to get this first down. First down, then they're going to be in pretty good scoring position and have an opportunity to get this ball in the end zone, which I'm sure they want to do, to at least get one score before this game is over against a good defensive Gresham group, even with their second group in there.
Ball is on 39-yard line. 39-yard line of Gresham. So it will be third down and 10. 4:24 to go here in the fourth quarter. I'm Jim Shealy. Along with me is Jerry Ross. You know, we mentioned a little earlier, Jerry, throughout the year we have seen so many fine players throughout the Mount Hood Conference. Without question, we've seen there obviously been some disappointments this year, but I think there have to be some people that feel pretty good about the way that the seasons have gone throughout the conference. There's some Reynolds, obviously, very strong team. Gresham, without question. David Douglas has come on extremely strong here in the second half of the year, and really that team is probably one of those dark horses going into the playoffs that might have a shot to upset the apple cart a little bit.
Really could. Reynolds sustained some very serious injuries last game with Gresham here last week, and David Douglas, as you said, is coming on hard and could very well upset the Raiders this year.
Oh, great
fine
job!
play!
Great
What a
job.
fine play by Phil Freeman.
Phil Freeman just getting sacked and nailed, dumps the ball off to Derek Garrison that time, and Garrison, with presence of mind to be available, takes that ball down for the first down.
I'm almost hoping that they get a first down, Jim, because Phil Freeman did an outstanding job to get rid of that ball. He was tackled, and he hung in there and didn't go down, and was able to. Oh, they're just short by a couple of inches, but I'm sure that they're going to go for it.
Yeah, they're in a 4-down area now, inside the 30-yard line, almost to the 29 here, and it'll be 4th and 1 with 4:11 to go, and you know, obviously, Barlow in a situation where they need the first down first, but they also just need to complete this drive. They have really worked hard tonight. They've done the things that I'm sure Coy was hoping they'd do a little bit more of, but they have really done well. And there's Wiley, and Wiley has popped right at the line of scrimmage, and it appears as though where they're marking it, he's not going to make it.
Oh, what a poor mark.
That was really, that official ran in there.
It appeared to me that where the ball was definitely another yard forward. He marked it right at about the guy's shin, I think, instead of where the majority of his body was.
That was really a interesting mark, but that again shows that quickness of Gresham coming up recovering so quickly and able to stop Brandon Wiley before he's able to make the first down. A new quarterback in there now for the Gresham Gophers, number 7, Curtis Loeb, a junior, possibly the heir apparent to Tyler Nagel. And he gives it off to number 47. Running with the ball is Todd McLean, as we have a whole host of new people in there. 21, Alex Brown also in the backfield. 33 in the backfield is Sean Nielsen. So a bunch of different people now as Gary Stouts tries to get lots of folks some experience and also save some of those first line people going into the playoffs.
Yeah, this is a time that you do not want one of your better ball players on the field and ending up sustaining an injury of some kind that might keep him out of the playoffs.
In the backfield, 47, Todd McLean, along with Nielsen. Correction, Nielsen split out. Number 25, running the ball, breaking one tackle after another is Aaron Vila. Aaron Vila, another senior, 5'8", 150-pound senior, getting an opportunity to carry the ball a little bit.
Yeah, now he looked like a fine little ball carrier there. He would not go down. He had people dragging that he was dragging behind, and looked like he had quick feet, very similar to Lassard's.
Coy Zimmerman getting a few different people in the ball game now. That defense has been on the field a long time here, especially in the second half. Split backs this time. Wing back to the left. Give is the 47. That's Todd McLean, and McLean powering forward, and you know, they just keep bringing folks in there, Jerry, that just keep their legs turning and keep the wheels running the whole time until they go down. It's a very, very good offensive line, even though it's a second unit. They're getting off the ball very quickly here.
I've been really impressed with the Gresham line, in as much as when they make a block, they sustain the block. They keep it. They do not slip off. They don't let the defensive linemen break them down to the point where it's just a hit and slip, and then the ball carrier gets tackled at the line of scrimmage.
Todd McLean, the up back. And we have, looked like one of the Barlow players jumped offside that time. And of course, you'll see that a little bit more when you get some of the second group in there. Not quite used to the flow of the game. 21-0. The Gresham Gophers leading the Barlow Bruins.
Still first down.
Gresham marching here, their second unit in the ball game now, and pretty much the second unit also for Barlow in the ball game. Ball is right at midfield, 1st and 5, following that penalty. At quarterback, number 7, Curtis Loeb. Loeb hands off Villa. Villa, number 25, Aaron Villa, carries the ball up for about a yard gain. So it'll be 2nd and 4 now. 2nd down and 4 as the clock ticks down, and just a minute to go now in the ball game. Lowe brings him up out of the I formation. Twins right. Give us to Villa. Villa coming up. Nice tackle that time. In there was Kerry Hurt, number 18, along with David Benner, number 45.
Again, a very quick moving back. Carries that ball, gets the line of scrimmage quick, and just pops through there.
Twin receivers out to the right, out of the I formation. Open quarterback. Give this time, number 20, running with the ball, and again, great leg drive is Rob Ramirez. Ramirez carries the ball up to about the 36-yard line.
And now here we see number 22. He's got those backs. All those backs look about the same, out of the same mold, and he's bringing one after another in there, and each of them carry the ball, and each of them gaining between 8 and 10 yards a shot, Jim.
Well, again, I think a lot of that has to do with the offensive line and the line scheme that they have. You know, you can put about anybody in there, and they all get a chance to do it. Gives number 20. 20 trying to get outside, breaks one tackle, breaks another tackle, and finally brought down is Rob Ramirez as we hear the final gun for this great ball game between the Gresham Gophers and the Barlow Bruins, with the Gresham Gophers defeating the Bruins 21-0, and they will go into the state playoffs undefeated with a 9-0 record. And obviously, they'd like to at least advance as far as they did last year, where they ended up losing in the semifinals, going all the way to the semifinals. And the Barlow Bruins just waiting. They'll have to wait for the outcome of the Central Catholic Centennial game to see where they stand with regard to their playoff situation.
Well, it was a good ball game, Jim. We saw some real character on the part of Barlow. Barlow was definitely the underdog. They've been struggling a little bit all year. They've won some ball games and played some good football, but tonight they showed some real character on defense, as I said, holding Gresham out of the end zone. Gresham was very capable of scoring maybe 3 or 4 more times. And there again, Gresham showed the class that they do have, and their line play and their pursuit, their quickness, and their ability to execute.
Well, I think that the city of Gresham and the Gresham School District has to be very, very pleased with the type of individuals that they have out there representing both Barlow High School and Gresham High School. You know, there's a bunch of fine young men out there and great leaders and some really neat kids, and I think that all of Gresham has to be proud this evening, as well as the Mount Hood Conference, and it's something that we're going to be anxious to see how the Mount Hood Conference fares in the playoff, as we think that they will obviously do very well because we've got some great teams going into the playoffs. We'll be back to wrap it up after these messages from Gresham High School.
I'm cleaning up because you made a mess. Look, we gotta talk. We make too much garbage. We make too much litter. We don't recycle when we oughta. We gotta do something about this. Now. You know what I'm doing? Cleaning up. I'm part of the Glad Bag-a-thon. What about you? You gonna get involved? We're not just messing around. The solution is in your hands.
We're back at Gresham High School. I'm Jim Shealy. Along with me is Jerry Ross. And Jerry, a great ball game tonight. Gresham, the number 4 ranked team in the state of Oregon, comes out victorious 21-0 over their cross-city rivals, the Barlow Bruins. But really a good ball game overall.
was a good ball game. We saw a couple of things that were very significant. One was the business-like that you mentioned form that Gresham displayed as they ran through their offenses and defenses tonight. Very, very proficient, very well coached and executed very well. Then we saw the Barlow Bruins show some real character at times. Their backs to the wall, but yet played solid defense. And to try to stop this Gresham team is a tough, tough job.
And I think we also have to recognize the fact that Barlow, in many cases, starts an all-junior backfield, so they'll all be back next year. They have some key linemen that will be back. So Barlow is really a team on the rise. And as per usual, the Gresham Gophers are a team dominated by seniors. So a lot of these guys will be gone. In fact, most of that starting unit will be gone. And, and there'll be some new faces in there. So it's a team on Gresham that's always in transition, but Gary Stout seems to do a great job of always filling the gap and reloading. One thing that I'd like to say is I've really enjoyed working with you this year, Jerry. It's been educational for me, and I would also like to thank the schools in the Mount Hood Conference, all of the athletic directors in the Mount Hood Conference, as well as the coaches and players who have been so cooperative in us putting on these shows, and we appreciate their cooperation and the help that they have given us to bring you Mount Hood Conference football each week, and we certainly hope that we can do it in the future. We look forward to, we will be having some basketball on the air, so we also look forward to basketball later on in January. So overall, I think the Mount Hood Conference is on the rise. We have to thank those people, but it's a great conference to work with and really some fine individuals.
And I'd also like to thank the cable people, Jim. I think they do a fine job of letting the people in the area see the game and be able to watch their boys in action. And the ballyhoo of the entire football game is well presented, and I think those guys do a super job.
Well, all of our volunteers have done a great job, the cameramen, the people in the truck, everyone. So it's been a situation where we really enjoyed this year. It's been well put together, and I think that overall we've had a lot of fun, and I think that the cable people should be happy, the conference should be happy, and I think that it's a good marriage and a lot of fun that we've had this year, and we really enjoyed working with everybody. So for Jerry Ross, I'm Jim Shealy. We'd like to thank you for watching us, and we hope to see you down the road with Mount Hood Conference action.
Yeah, they have, and they've stopped making a few mistakes that they made in the first half.
So Barlow will be kicking from the 20. It's a free kick, so they can kick however they choose, whether it be punt or kickoff. And waiting now for the Barlow kicking team to get on the field. David Douglas will be receiving, and you can just see the bounce and the step of some of those David Douglas players. They're pumped up now as we look at the sideline. And, there's some smiles now over on the David Douglas side as opposed to what we saw earlier in the game when they were a little bit downcast and frustrated.
I'm certain that Coy Zimmerman's kind of wondering what's happening. They had kind of their way in the first half, and now they're struggling. Definitely not on a high note. They need to get themselves back pumped up.
Nevis to kick off. Davis, Griffith, and Montagay. Good kick. Griffith with the reception on the 30-yard line. Up following his block, doing a nice job of following blockers. It gets clear over midfield all the way down to about the 48-yard line, but a nice job of Griffith. Really didn't show a lot of speed or anything, just got in behind those blockers and just followed them all the way down the field. So they will set up on the 48-yard line of Barlow. David Douglas will take over again with another chance to try to put some points on the board. And you do have to credit the Barlow defense. They have, when they have had to, with the exception of the one drive right off the bat, they have stopped David Douglas. So
yes,
it's really been kind of a defensive struggle here, but Barlow has risen to the task defensively. But David Douglas got to get something going if they're going to get back in the ballgame now. Inside handoff, number 34, that's Al Daniels.
Well, that's a shame if there's going to be holding, because that was an excellent David Douglas surge from the line.
that's about as far off the line as the offensive line has been able to push Barlow all
That's
night
too
long.
bad.
And it is holding, so
We maybe put the whammy on them. We just said that they had started to eliminate some of their mistakes, and now they pick up a holding penalty.
yeah, that's a tough one because when you start getting the 10-yard penalties like that, you
Hold on the offense. Down will be 1.
That's a tough call, too. When you get a plunge